So let's move on. Let's move on to the next one because this has been fun. This has been a fun one. I like this episode. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Um, all right. Jumping into the next one, we're going back to horror and non-horror with me. So go ahead and let's see. You know, go ahead and spin your wheel of not horror characters.
All right. Jack Skellington.
Ooh, Jack Skellington. Okay. I feel like he still fits under the umbrella. He's on my horror list because he's,
Oh,
he's a skeleton.
I can spin again.
But no, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Let me go ahead and spin and see. Oh, guess what I got? The killer clowns from outer space. I'll just remove that. So this is taking a very, very mainstream character in Jack Skellington, and he's the king of Halloween Town. For those of you who are living under a rock or have never walked into a hot topic before, and he got really bored of Halloween every year, so he went and found a door that led him to Christmas Town, and he decided to take over Christmas and just jack Santa's shit for a little bit. That didn't go so well, so Santa has to save the day, and he learns to appreciate what he has a little bit, and kind of stay in his lane. Meanwhile, I'm shifting into a not so mainstream character. This is Slappy the Dummy from the Goosebumps series. Listener beware, you're in for a scare. Um, Now, Slappy the Dummy is a sentient ventriloquist dummy from R.L. Stein's massive Goosebumps series. And to put in perspective every single plot of every book that he's in, which is all Night of the Living Dummy or something about a living dummy, it involves a child that for some reason is into ventriloquism. The fact that this has happened at least 6 times is very strange. Even one of them is unbelievable because I don't think I've ever met any person in my entire life that cared about ventriloquism. But these are like young like preteens and teenagers that like ventriloquist dummies, and they actually like find this dummy, and
Kids are the
basically,
worst.
yeah. And what happens every single time that they find this dummy is that they start doing ventriloquist acts, and it becomes a big hit again somehow. Somehow that's just what's hip with the kids. How do you do, fellow kids? I got my ventriloquist dummy. Want to watch my act? And then eventually the dummy starts saying stuff like, "Yeah, fuck you," and they're like, "Oh, how could you say such a thing?" And then eventually the dummy starts like walking around and tries to like kill the protagonist or something like that.
Jeff Dahmer's
Um,
life, essentially.
yeah, and basically the dummy, it's a killer ventriloquist dummy. It's a story you've seen everywhere. Now, so Jack Skellington, how do they cross over? Well, let me tell you. So Jack is, doing his Halloween Town thing. It's about time to start planning for the coming Halloween. And so he's like, I need something new. Some something that's like, scary. So he takes a little walk out into the woods, and he finds some more doors on trees, and he sees one that he hasn't noticed before. Um, he sees the Thanksgiving door. He sees the Christmas door. Not going to do that again. Doesn't want to piss off Santa Claus again. Um, but then event sees the Easter door, and then he sees a door with a G on it for Goosebumps. It's the Goosebumps door. So he opens the Goosebumps door and falls in. It's like, Doo-doo-ding, doo-doo-ding, doo-doo-ding. Boom, 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 boom. Viewer beware, you're in for a scare. So he goes down and ends up in the 90s Goosebumps TV show, which ranges from episodes that are somewhat entertaining to absolute garbage. There's really no there's nothing super positive. It's sometimes a fun show, other times one of the worst shows ever. It's very Canadian. Um,
Sorry.
yep. And so he sees all of the Goosebumps characters, like, and he finds the dummy, and he's like, "Oh, this is perfect. I'll bring this. This really should have been in Halloween Town to begin with. I don't know why it's in a separate door." Um, so he takes the dummy back to Halloween Town, and starts doing his whole "What's this?" thing. Like he's got to figure it out, and Slappy the dummy is just kind of an asshole. So like he hasn't really done anything up to this point. Um, so Jack is trying to like be like, "Oh, what's this?" And dummy comes to life. He's like, fuck you." And he's like, "Whoa, that's really rude for a dummy to say." And he's like, "Who you calling dummy, dummy?" And so Jack just kind of toss him out the window because he doesn't take that shit. Um, and then yeah, probably someone else in Halloween Town finds him, and the
Didn't
dummy
really
just starts
know,
wreaking havoc.
those little kids in Oogie Boogie.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what happens. This is set after Nightmare Before Christmas, so Ookie's dead. But the kids do find him, and basically now Slappy the dummy is causing havoc in Halloween Town, because the difference between this character and the Halloween Town characters is that the Halloween Town characters do not aim to go out and kill people. They're really just like, much like I guess kind of like Sam in Trick or Treat. They're more like just um personifications of like Halloween stuff. So I assume, just by going off the lore of what you see in the movie, is that they do not actually do anything on Halloween. They just make it so that the atmosphere is perfect. So they make sure that Halloween night is like nice and foggy, is like the right temperature or whatever. I don't know what they've been doing, like, here, because it's been raining here the past few Halloweens, but whatever. So,
They've been slacking, really slacking.
right. So it's not like the Wolfman guy is out there like jumping out at kids and like scaring them or whatever. But they're basically trying to make sure that the Halloween is perfect. Like they make sure that all the pumpkins are nice in the pumpkin patch and stuff like that. But Slappy the dummy is out to try and actually kill people. So Jack's like, I can't have that. So he goes and takes his like, plasma whip thing that he has in that video game. I don't know if you remember that. Um, and then has to go, and sometimes you just gotta, beat a dummy's ass. Know what I'm saying? And I mean, this isn't a contest; it's a ventriloquist dummy against the king of Halloween. What do you think's gonna happen? um,
Guarantee he's made of wood, so just get a little fire near him. And
yeah, a little bit of fire, and Jack can handle fire.
yeah,
He ate fire. I watched it happen. Um, and that's pretty much what happens. Is Slappy is like, wreaking havoc in Halloween Town. If you have a better scenario, then by all means, go ahead.
I mean, no, I mean, I would have. I like how you went with its own Goosebumps store. I would have been like, he went in to Christmas Town, and it was Slappy was a gift, and as he like
Oh,
started to give him to, he gave him to a kid, and then that's when he realized, oh, that's one of the really bad toys I gave, and he's like, shit, gotta go fix that. So
mm,
he has to go. Then they fight because Slappy's like, no, no, I'm not leaving, staking my claim.
that's
Here
actually
we
a
go.
that's actually a much better idea. Like Santa ends up giving Slappy as a gift somehow. like through some accident, and then like once it moves back around to Halloween time, that's when things are like really messing up with Slappy the dummy.
Yeah.
So like Santa, because now I guess they're friends, like calls up Jack and he's like, Jack, I really fucked up this time.
Somehow,
Some
some way, this
this gift I
crazy
gave
boy.
this good little boy who wanted to be a ventriloquist um is really backfiring. It's like it's something that belongs in your world, so Jack's got to go because it's Halloween and go snatch the dummy, I guess.
And then Santa puts every child on the naughty list who asks for a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah. I mean, look, if
Automatic.
you are a child, if you are like 10 or 12 years old and you want a ventriloquist dummy for Christmas, you're probably the devil.
Yes.
Let's be real. Um,
Something's not right.
and there's something definitely not right with the characters in Goosebumps stories because they always have some like really weird like interest that gets them into these situations. Like, did you read a lot of Goosebumps when you were younger, Eden?
Oh, I did. But I would also fall in the category of being that weird kid because one year I asked for like a mummification kit because I wanted to be an Egyptologist when I was little. So
Oh,
I'm right on that border of
okay.
why
So
I love Halloween.
so you're in, so you belong right in the Mummy Goosebumps books.
Yes.
The curse is real. Um,
Like
um,
scared, like don't be afraid of the dark. I was those weird kids.
okay, okay, fair enough.
But I was also
Um,
afraid of everything somehow.
Now, do you remember Night of the Living Dummy Part 3?
So I read a lot of the ones that was like you chose your own adventure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I only had like I had one of those. It was it was the peanut butter of doom or something. It was like you go into a fridge and you see a mysterious jelly. Do you use it in your peanut butter sandwich? Yes. You are dead.
Did.
Um but no, so Night of the Living Dummy 3, a kid gets the Slappy dummy, and just so happens that particular family has a collection of like 20 other ventriloquist dummies that they keep in the attic, like just sitting there. So the dummy like brings the other ones to life, and it's like him, and he's teamed up with like a 1920s like gangster dummy named like Rocky or something. He's like, "Come on, Rocky," and he's like, "All right, boss." And I remember watching that particular episode of the TV show all the time, but it's like, what family has, first of all, a ventriloquist dummy, let alone 20 of them in the attic?
Too much.
um but yeah, that is Slappy versus Jack Skellington. Jack Skellington may make a reappearance during the Christmas beatdown episode in December. Which
As
who
he should.
knows how that'll go.
As he should.
Yes, because he's a nightmare before Christmas.
Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Big brain.
Mind blown.
Yep.